Mojang is lazy. With updates coming so slow, there's absolutely no reason for them to be adding so little content each year, but the most absurd subject of this is the mob vote. The Friends and Foes mod takes all of the mobs that didn't make it through the vote and makes them a reality like Mojang should have done anyway. Back in 2020, Minecraft Live announced a vote to add one of 3 mobs to the game, the Moobloom, Icillager, or Glow Squid. We all know how Dream pushed the mob vote for adding that useless Glow Squid that we now have. Thankfully, Friends and Foes rectifies this mistake by adding the other 2. First up, the Moobloom comes with a couple of other features too, including these fancy buttercup flowers, and then also this beekeeper villager that chills in the beekeeper area of normal villages. You can also trade with them. The Moobloom itself can be found in flower forests and is the same as a normal cow, but interacts with bees and can spawn buttercups. But also, I just think they're neat. The Icillager lives in this interesting shack in the woods and will attack with some frost magic, which can be quite damaging, and if you do manage to get the upper hand on them, they're guaranteed to drop a totem of freezing, which activates when you're under half health to freeze surrounding mobs. Inside the Icillager shack is some minor additional loot as well. The 2021 mob vote pit the Glare, Alley, and Copper Golem against each other and saw the ultimate victory of the Alley. Like before, however, the other 2 mobs are added by this mod. Starting with the Glare, it spawns in a lush cave and flies around like a bee, hanging around the glow berries especially. You can even feed them some of those glow berries to tame them, and they'll follow you around for a while. On occasion, they'll also mark hostile mobs for you, even through walls. These little homies would make great spotters for you on your adventures in the caves or up above on the surface as well. The copper golems are so cute, you can make your own with a copper block, pumpkin, and a lightning rod on top. You can also find some in villages, and they have 4 levels of oxidation, and as they get more oxidized, they get slower until ultimately they turn to statues. You can reverse this with an axe and protect against rust by waxing them with a honeycomb. As for their purpose, they wander around and occasionally hit copper buttons for fun, which could mean really interesting redstone contraptions when randomness is required. Other than that, they're just kinda cute little buddies, and I'm a huge fan. The 2022 Minecraft Live vote pit the Sniffer, Rascal, and Tough Golem against each other, resulting in the Sniffer that we now have that won with 55.1% of the vote. Once again, you don't have to settle, you can have them all. Starting with the Rascal, it is a passive mob that can only be found in mine shafts, where they will wander around randomly. If you approach them, they'll engage you in a game of hide and seek, and if you find them 3 times, they'll give you a little award. The Tough Golems are living display cases for your various items. They're created by placing tough, wool, and a carved pumpkin in a stack in that order. They can also be found in stronghold libraries, and if you're feeling decorative, they can be dyed to different colors. One thing to be careful though, when you're not looking, they can book it with your fancy items unless you glue them in place with a honeycomb. Beyond just the mob vote, there are a couple of other honorable mention mobs that are included that seem to have been unused or abandoned in the past. First are the Illusioners, which are technically in the game already, but unable to be found naturally or even with spawn eggs. They have to be summoned with commands. Friends and Foes fixes this with their own Illusioner mob. Illusioners can be found at the Illusioner Shack, training grounds, or during raids and will attack with spells and a bow. Once you kill an Illusioner, they're guaranteed to drop a Totem of Illusion, which when in the offhand may activate once you're under half health to teleport you away and spawn 8 clones of yourself that'll be targeted by the mobs instead. Finally, we have the Wildfire, which is the boss version of a blaze. Found in a new citadel structure attached to the nether fortresses, these bosses put up a decent fight. You'll have to knock through their shields before being able to damage them and eventually collect that fancy Wildfire crown. Don't settle for Mojang's laziness anymore. Let the amazing developer Faboslav do for you what an entire company couldn't. Download link is in the description, and thank you so much for watching.